it's Jen Suzuki, and I'm in the industry. I meet some of the greatest leaders out there, dealer execs, dealers, GMs, and I'm bringing them in the studio to talk to me about what's making their business pop, what's accelerating their growth. I'm sharing my own personal strategies for your sales teams, so I'm ready to get after it. Are you?
All right. Well, welcome back, listeners. I'm super excited. This has been a long time await for me to have Randy Parker. He is the CEO of a dual brand, hello, Hyundai and Genesis. Welcome, Randy.
Hey, good morning, Jennifer. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're such a driving force behind Hyundai's push for innovation and electrification. I mean, you're just transforming customer experience out there for the dealers. And today I just want to dive into what's next for the brand, what's happening right now in retail, and how dealerships can stay ahead. It's always great to have you on.
Hey, I'm glad to be here again. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on board this morning.
Well, I guess I have to say, it's just, I've loved watching Hyundai, also Kia. I've loved watching what Genesis continues to do with their products, particularly Hyundai in the regard of just watching them continue to break records. I mean, I guess Genesis too, in a lot of ways, just record-breaking results across both brands right now. I think Hyundai probably hit their best April. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we had a record. We had a record March, and we also had a record April. That's correct.
Yeah, and then we're just watching what you guys are able to do with electric vehicles and hybrids now. I mean, listen, I know that that's probably a bigger focus now, and maybe we can get into that and get your insights on that. But, you know, hybrids, just sales for you guys jumping significant, big, not 46%.
Yeah, it was a big month for us, and I'm sure you got a lot of questions regarding EVs and hybrids. So happy to jump into that level of detail as well.
Okay, well, we got to start first with the big one, the tariffs. Yes.
Okay, the elephant in the room.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about Hyundai and tell us, how the U.S. production strategy is helping navigate the impact of tariffs, especially with the investment, it's close to $13 billion meta plant in Georgia. I just saw that they just finally celebrated that opening.
Yeah, so a couple of things. Well, first and foremost, let me just say that there's no doubt that the tariffs are having a significant impact on the entire industry, from vehicle production to supply chain. But our strategy is really threefold. First, I would say, our strategy has always been, hey, let's take care of our dealers, let's take care of our customers. Hence, we launched the Hyundai Assurance Program back at the beginning of March, letting the public know that we're not going to be raising MSRPs. That was first and foremost. And so far, Jennifer, it's been paying big dividends for us. As you just mentioned, we had record sales in March, record sales in April, very similar to what we did during COVID and what we did during the microchip shortage. You know, during COVID, our philosophy was, hey, let's take care of our customers, let's take care of our dealers, and you're going to net out in a really good place. And what did we do? We had record sales. Same thing during the microchip shortage. What did we do? We took care of our customers, we took care of our dealers, we kept the supply chain moving. And what happened? We had record sales. So I've always been a firm believer that if you do those two things smartly and correctly, you're always going to net out in a very, very good place. At the end of the day, we got to keep selling cars. Nothing happens in this business until we do what? Until we sell a car. So no matter what comes out of left field, no matter what the crisis may be, let's continue to sell cars. Let's take care of our customers. And, we've had record sales now for the past 4 years. And the plan is to do it again this year. We call it 5 for 5 and 25.
Okay.
And I would say the second part of our strategy is to educate the public as well as Washington, D.C. on the significant amount of investments that we're making in the United States. First and foremost, just 1 month ago, as you mentioned, we celebrated the grand opening of our meta plant in Savannah, Georgia. It was all part of a $12.6 billion investment. We're bringing 8,700 manufacturing jobs between our production facility as well as the two battery plants that are on site at the meta plant facility. Again, 8,700 manufacturing jobs. That's big. Phase one, we're going to be able to produce 300,000 cars. Phase two, 500,000 cars. So that's a big footprint of ours. And then in that same week that we celebrated the grand opening of the meta plant facility, and this was a very proud moment for me, as well as many of our employees and many of our dealers, I'm sure. That same week, our executive chair, Mr. Chung, was standing side by side, the president of the United States in the White House, standing alongside the governor of the state of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, where we announced that we're bringing a steel mill to the great state of Louisiana. And that was all part of another $21 billion investment. Everybody from on my daddy's side is from Louisiana, so I got a lot of phone calls that day. And
Love that.
everybody's very, very proud of the fact that Hyundai Motor Group is providing economic commerce and economic development in the state of Louisiana. My only heartburn, my only regret in that announcement is that the steel mill didn't go to Pittsburgh. I'm a huge Steeler fan, and
I hear you.
I could have sworn, for sure that we were going to bring the steel mill to the city of
That would
Pittsburgh. But you know what? We'll just have to convert a lot of Saints fans into Steeler fans. That's the bottom line. And then lastly, I would say, with respect to the tariffs, we continue to study ways of localizing production, and we're going to continue to look for ways to optimize bringing production to the United States. So bottom line, we're racing to America. We're bringing economic development to America. We're bringing jobs to America. We're putting our money where our mouth is. And I would say, that's the best way that we can manage the tariffs.
Well, it's really wonderful to hear. I just had this conversation with my 12-year-old in the car this morning who, continuously hears the media talk about tariffs and so much of it is very negatively impacted. And to hear this is exactly what I said to her. I said, look, people like you and me, we need to have companies here in America that are supporting continuous job development and building, our communities, our states, our nation. And I've seen all of these contributions that you mentioned. I like all of those posts, by the way, because this is what we hope for, made in America. So now look, and you guys, it's not like you guys just did these things. These things were running before, the tariff talk even came into place. Having this meta plant just celebrate its grand opening was probably something in a 4-year making, probably at minimum, right?
Absolutely.
You guys have been ahead of the curve.
We try to anticipate what's coming around the corner, and
yes.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy to be part of the Hyundai Motor Group team is that our executive chair is making significant investments in the brand going forward. Yeah. Again, he's always trying to anticipate where the market is going, and so we're investing in a variety of mobility solutions, electrification, connectivity, autonomous drive systems, air mobility, robotics.
Yes.
We've got a huge investment now in Boston Robotics, and trying to leverage that technology to make progress for humanity and take care of our dealers and take care of our customers.
Oh, you guys, like I mentioned, you're so innovative, and I want to get into some of those topics too a little bit. But tell me, so now being so far ahead of most competitors out there, automakers, getting that U.S. focused footprint heavily positioned for growth compared to some of the competitors, how does this impact consumers, do you think, in the short term and the long run here?
Well, again, we're going to continue to make significant investments in the brand. And again, if we just stick true to our mantra, let's put the customer at the center of everything we do. Let's put the dealers at the center of everything we do. And no matter what happens, no matter what crisis comes out of left field, we're going to always net out in the right place. That's always been our philosophy.
Understood.
And so far it's working for us.
Yeah. Well, we love the brand. The IONIQ 5, big opening, big splash. The IONIQ 9, literally, I would say, is falling off the trucks as we speak. So talk to us a little bit about how Hyundai's adjusting its EV game plan in response to the changing consumer demand and the latest federal tax credit changes.
Well, I see that you're keeping up with current events, Jennifer, which is very, very good for you. Well, first and foremost, let me just say that I'm very, very proud to say that Hyundai Motor Group, we're the third largest automaker in the world, and we remain confident in I would say, the long-term growth of the EV market in the United States. But we also recognize that we have a need to be flexible and to be able to meet our consumers on their journey towards electrification. So in other words, we have to have a seat for every purse. And so we continue to invest in a wide range of powertrain options, which includes hybrids, plug-in hybrids, extended range EVs, fuel cell vehicles, as well as the internal combustion engine. In addition to our investments in EV production, we're also rolling out other programs to help with EV adoption. So, for example, I don't know if you've heard of a project called Project IONA, where we're investing with 7 other automakers to help improve the EV infrastructure in the
Yes.
United States. And we're bringing 30,000 high-powered superchargers throughout the U.S. To help, with EV adoption. So that's a big play for us. Now, starting with model year 26, now our EVs are compatible with the NACS ports, the North American Charging Standard ports in the U.S. As well as Canada. And now we have access to more than 12,000 Tesla superchargers. So again, making it easy for our customers to gain access to charging networks throughout the U.S. As well as Canada. And then lastly, I would say that our customers have access to Hyundai Home Marketplace, which is a one-stop shop for Hyundai EV customers to help with all of their electrification needs. So if you want a level 2 charger installed in your home, we can do that. If you want solar panels, we can do that. So there's a lot going on in terms of us, again, focusing on the customer and focusing on their transition to EV adoption.
So you've seen a lot of people really dial it up on the hybrids. I think some people let off the gas a little bit on the full electric vehicles. But what are you seeing as far as what does this say to production when you see consumers really starting to lean in towards that hybrid?
Yeah, so a couple of things. First and foremost, let me go back to what I said earlier. We remain confident in the long-term growth of the EV market in the U.S. So we're going to continue to focus on EVs. We're not going to give up on EVs, first and foremost. As you just mentioned, the IONIQ 5 is performing extremely well in the marketplace. It's now being built in Savannah. And we just launched the all-new IONIQ 9 this past Friday. In fact, we approved pricing on Thursday. Wholesale release was on Friday. And those cars are being shipped to our dealers as we speak. So I think that's a great 1-2 punch. The IONIQ 9 is a great vehicle. Anybody that's looking for a full-size 3-row EV SUV, the IONIQ 9 is absolutely perfect. And I would encourage you, Jennifer, to get behind the wheel of one of those cars as well and get acquainted with the IONIQ 9 because it's a great vehicle, great design, great technology, and I think it's going to do well in the marketplace. But as I said earlier, we also recognize that we need to have flexibility in terms of our production and be able to meet the consumer on their journey and transition to electrification. So if EVs are not in the cards, we definitely have hybrids. We have plug-in hybrids, fuel cell vehicles. And we're investing even more, bringing more hybrids to the United States. We've seen a big shift, in that market. Even though we're performing well with EVs, as you mentioned earlier, hybrid sales are going way up as well. And for us, it's about being flexible, and that's one of the I think competitive advantages that we have over a lot of our key competitors is that we do have we have a lot of flexibility in terms of being able to shift our production and meet the consumer and meet consumer demand. This time next year, we're going to be producing hybrids out of our Meta plant facility in Savannah. Initially that plant was going to be 100% EV, but today we've seen the shift, and we want to make sure that we can meet demand in terms of hybrid production. So we've got a seat for every purse. So no matter which direction the consumer wants to go in, whether it's an ICE vehicle, a plug-in hybrid, a hybrid, an EV, I think we'll be able to meet the consumer on their journey. And I think that's good for our dealer partners as well, because they're going to have a plethora and array of vehicles that they can sell to the consumer.
Well, you've got something for everybody, and especially for the entire journey of life. Whether you're just starting, your kid getting in their first new car, you've got something there. And as that person evolves in their lifestyle, there's really something for everybody. And you have such great, good-looking products out there. Look, your numbers, they speak for themselves. And the dealers, they seem to be. Well, they love Randy Parker, I can tell you that. I deal with a lot of Hyundai dealers.
Thank you. You just made my day. You just made my day. Okay, you know what? I can go home now.
Okay, enough said. Okay, bye. No, but actually that means a lot to me too, because it's not always like that. And there's a lot of different people that are fighting different ways for the dealer. And listen, I always love to hear what they say about Randy, but they always feel like you're in there with them. You're one of them. I hear this, frequently that you're accessible. And anyway, this podcast speaks for itself.
Well, I'm a firm believer in the dealer franchise model.
I know.
And that's not going to change.
It's so clear.
While I'm working in the auto industry. And so, they're the gateway. They're the introduction to the brand. And I talk about all of the investments that we're making as a company, but let me also say that we've got a significant number of dealers that are making significant investments in both Hyundai and Genesis as well. By the end of
Yes.
this year, I'll have approximately 70%, close to 70% of our Hyundai dealer network that will have invested in brand new GDSI 2.0 facilities.
Okay.
And what better way to showcase all of this great product in some great showrooms, right? But we also had a need to have more service capacity as well.
Yes.
And, as you very
For
well know,
Genesis.
well, for Hyundai as well, believe it or
Okay.
not. And so for both brands. And so as dealers are building these new facilities for both Hyundai and Genesis, they're also adding more service capacity to better take care of the customers, right? We got more UIOs as we continue to sell more cars in the marketplace. We need more capacity. We've got many, many dealers out there that are making significant investments in the brand. And at the same time, I would say that Hyundai is shaping new ways to shop for a car and giving our dealers an opportunity to build awareness of their inventory in the marketplace and trying to make it more convenient for new car buyers. For example, our customers can go through several digital tools right now in the marketplace right now through HyundaiUSA.com, Hyundai Drive, as well as Amazon Auto. So again, we're always thinking about the consumer, trying to anticipate what's coming around the corner. But at the same time, we're looking for ways, working with our National Dealer Council, to try and figure out how do we make it easier for our dealers to do business with us and for our dealers to do business with our customers.
Well, at the end of the day, you're equipping these guys to win, and you've been very vocal about helping them do that. Now you're, sharing the support and the evolution of the brand. Is there anything that they should be doing to double down right now to stay competitive, especially as we're increasingly seeing digital and electric landscapes evolve?
Yeah, I would say just continue to play offense. Understand, what's happening in the marketplace, and the dealers do it better than anyone. They know exactly what's going on in the market, right? And so just continue to play offense. Keep providing communication back to us through our National Dealer Council. If you like something, let us know. If you don't like something, please let us know so that we can adjust and try and do things better. We're always trying to improve as an OEM, and we're always looking for ways to try and improve our relationship with our dealer partners and, again, make it easier for them to do business with us. I mean, we're not perfect. We don't always get it right.
No one is.
And, again, what we do is we try to always err on the side of the dealers, and we also always try to err on the side of the customers. Again, we don't always get it right, but at the end of the day, we're always striving for perfection. One of the famous quotes that I live by, Vince Lombardi once said, we're in the relentless pursuit of perfection, knowing that it's not attainable, but in the process, we'll achieve excellence. And that's always been my philosophy.
Sure.
We're never going to be perfect. We can strive for perfection, but in the process, we're going to be really, really good at what we do as long as we continue to strive for perfection. And that's sort of been my MO with our dealer partners as well.
Look, no one's winning the championship if they're not trying. Right? I mean, that's what we're all fighting for, is to win the championship,
Amen
and yeah.
Amen to that.
And look at you. You are literally our champion. I was telling, so for our listeners, I was telling Randy offline that I grew up loving the Raiders. This was my team. And I'll tell you why I love them so much, because I was born and raised in California. I could have picked a lot of teams, but they had this guy, Bo Jackson. He was my child hero. And you know why I love this guy so much? This guy was just a beast. We had never seen someone like him in sports, in anything. This guy became a pro at 2 sports simultaneously. It was just remarkable. I just thought this guy was the man. He was literally doing things that, look, I mean, I want to be an overachiever like the rest of them, but to be able to nail that was really something. And it reminds me a lot of you. Look at you, CEO of Hyundai, CEO of Genesis. You got the rare seat.
Oh my God! You just put me in the same category as Bo Jackson. I'm not sure if I'm worthy of that comparison, but you know what? I appreciate the. Flattery is going to get you everywhere, Jennifer. So keep it going.
You deserve it. Look, I mean, we don't know what your personal life looks like, but I know you're going to bat and you got to make a lot of sacrifices. I mean, to pin you down even for this thing, you're here, you're there, you're here, you're traveling internationally. I mean, you just got a lot going on. You got 2 very exciting brands. Tell us about your vision. Tell us where we're both are headed here in North America and how the dealer network plays into that long-term success.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, with Bo Jackson, right? I mean, Bo Jackson was a winner, and
Yeah.
I too believe in winning. I love to win. For those that know me, know I played basketball in college, and so I'm hyper competitive. And for me, it's all about the team, the team, the team, the team. Teamwork
Yes.
makes the dream work. But I also I'm a believer in giving back to the community and in the community that helped shape me and got me to where I am today. I am a mentor and coach at our Neely School of Business at Texas Christian University. I coach and counsel many of the MBA students on their journey to what's next in life. So it's one of my favorite things to do, to be quite honest with you. But I also like to, just spend a lot of time with our dealer partners. This is by far one of the greatest businesses in the world, in my opinion. There's no 2 days that are alike. I've established so many relationships over my 36-year career in the auto industry, and it all started. It started, with the relationships that I had, and have with my dealers from the time that I was, working at GMAC in finance, to the time that I was a district sales manager at Chevrolet, to the time that I transitioned to, running Infinity at Nissan, to the time that I spent time in Japan. I've got, relationships all around the world. And to me, it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. And I can't wait to see what's next, to be quite honest with you.
Investing in people, you're never going to lose. And I say this frequently. I'm in dealerships weekly. I'm at NADA Academy. I'm all over the place. And there's nothing that I love more than that, investing in people.
That's
It's
right.
actually
That's right.
was the
That's right.
foundation of this podcast, really,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've got a famous, another famous quote that I live by, and that is, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. Again, it's all about as Bo. I'm a huge college fan. I love a lot of the college coaches. Bo Schembechler was one of my favorite
Okay.
coaches. I don't really care for Michigan all that much, to be quite honest with you. So for all the Michigan fans, I'm sorry. But I loved Bo Schembechler. I thought he was one of the greatest coaches in college football history. And for him, he was always quoted as, there's nothing more important than the team. It's all about the team, the team, the team.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I say this to leaders in the dealerships every single day. I find myself preaching this. This is about building the championship team. And the only ways that we're going to do that is to invest in people. It's not just investing in helping people build their skill sets, but it's investing in what you just said, mentorship. This is where you spend your off time. This is where you spend, your extra time. This is, which was hard to believe that you have any. But, I love that that's your passion. And we run parallel with that.
Yeah, absolutely. A company's greatest assets, whether it's an OEM or whether it's at a dealership, a company's greatest assets are its people. I believe in doing everything from the inside out. When you look at the links to profitability, the very first link in that chain of profitability is the people. It's all about the employees. If you invest in the employees, if you coach and counsel and invest in the employees, they're gonna pay huge dividends for you. So those dealers that are spending time in the dealership, working with their managers, working with their salespeople, working with their service departments and the F&I departments, and being a fabric of those stores on a daily basis, those are the dealers that that have been successful throughout their careers. At least that's what I've noticed.
Hey, listen, I'm going to leave on this note because I just want to say it again. One of the things that you mentioned was that you enjoy hanging out with the dealers. You enjoy being there with them. And this is something that, listen, you're the CEO of Hyundai and Genesis. I mean, how will you know what they want? How will you know what we have to change? How will you know what we have to do to meet the expectations of, the dealer of the circle, unless you're there? And I say this to managers all the time. And listen, I'll just bring it like sales managers. A lot of times just sit there and I say to them, you got to get out there and you got to get back in the game. If the game is changing, it's evolving, service and sales, it's fueling our business. But if we're going to help and coach people, we have to get in the game ourselves to understand the real problems and the challenges and to confront them ourselves so that we really understand it. How better than to submerge yourself in it and see it with your own eyes?
100%. There's really two ways of doing that, right, Jennifer? It's with your left ear and with your right ear. And that means you need to listen.
Yeah.
Listen to your dealer partners. They know what's happening at the street level. Spend time with your dealer partners. To me, that's the road to success. And speaking of success, this weekend, as a matter of fact, we've got about 40 of our best of the best Hyundai dealers that we're going to be hosting in New Zealand on a Board of Excellence trip.
Wonderful.
Really, really excited about making that journey with them to New Zealand.
I love it. Reward.
So not only it's a big reward for them, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's just another opportunity for me to spend some quality
Exactly.
time with them and their spouses and significant others, just to really get to know them and listen to what they have to say. And we'll come back energized and ready to battle our key competitors.
I got to tell you, even the top performers that I've had on my podcast, these are dealers, multi-franchise stores. They all have that in common right there. It's a reward system that gives you guys time to be a little offline and spend time with families and connections and relationships.
Really
and
important.
listen, we preach it every day. Relationships as the foundation to our success. And then you go on and preach it. And I just think it's relevant for any organization.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I've been married for 33 years, and it's all about making sure that you listen and that you're willing to give more than what you're willing to receive.
Beautiful. Love it. Okay. Parting words. Is there anything you want to say to the dealers that are listening out there?
Sell like hell.
I love that.
That's it.
Enough said. Okay, Randy's out.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Listen, I want to thank you so much again, Randy Parker. You're just outstanding. I love talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Same here, Jennifer. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
If you like these episodes and my sales game techniques, you should snatch up our latest dealer education program I'm hosting. It's called Jen's Remote Classes, and it's a 1-hour, once-a-week class with me alongside other dealerships all pursuing the same end game to achieve top 10% status in your dealership. For more info, hit me up. All my contact info's in the show notes. I want to hear from you. And follow Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki right now to get notified when episodes like this one drop. This is Jen on the podcast Dealer Talk with Jen Suzuki. See ya!